you were to me. Our first comedian tonight is, she has a series on Funny or Die called Sex and the Single Woman. Check it out. Here she comes to the stage right now, the very funny Miss PreciousChong!
Oh my God, it's Sex and the Single Parent. He was reading it and he got it wrong. That's amazing. That is amazing. And what's with the two redheads in a row? Isn't that like illegal in comedy?
Should be.
Hi guys. So, how are you doing? Good? My mom does stand up too. And she goes, oh, don't worry, Precious. Just start with saying hi to everybody. And like, they really like that. So that's what I'm doing. Hi, everybody. And now everyone's wondering, your mom does stand up? What the fuck? So guys, my dad is Tommy Chong of PreciousChong. Thank you. No, I don't know, I'm thanking you guys. But he was recently on Dancing with the Stars. Did you guys check him out? Pretty good. And it's his birthday tomorrow. He's 77 years old. So, guys, you know what you gotta do. Because he was a semi-finalist on that show. Bam! So when he was on the show, the producers called my mom and they were like, does Tommy have any heart issues? Because they wanted to do some impromptu behind-the-scenes action where they like surprise him at rehearsal. And my mom was like, no, he's fine. And they go, oh, okay. So they spent a week trying to surprise my father at rehearsal, but he's so deaf and high all the time that they couldn't. So they would be like with the cameraman, and they'd be jumping out at him, boom, hey, Tommy! And he'd be like, oh, hey. And then he kept doing all these like pot gestures on television. And you guys, it's owned by Disney. So Disney was very uptight, that like greedy mouse was very uptight about my dad doing pot gestures on Dancing with the Stars. But what do they expect, right? I mean, come on. So they, you know how they do, they introduce the dancers, they'd be like, Tommy Chong and Peter Murgatroyd, and they'd come out and she'd be doing salsa and he'd be doing... And then you'd see all the people in black outfits with walkie-talkies talking like, okay, yeah, we have to do it again, okay, we have to do it again. Tommy needs to do it again, he can't do the gesture. Freaking out. And I went to go watch the show. I live in Canada now, but I came to town to watch it. And I grew up in show business. But even I, in the audience, with the cameras on me, was so self-conscious and hoping to get discovered in some weird way, watching the show as if somehow I'm going to be spotted and become a Kardashian or something. But everyone is always like, what is it like to have Tommy Chong as a dad? And I'm like, it's amazing, we get high every day. No, he does, I don't. Well, I do now that I have a kid, but he... Am I right or am I right? But I was doing a show once and I was getting a coffee across the street and I was waiting to pay and the guy in front of me goes, hey, did you know that Tommy Chong, his daughter, is in a show across the street? And the guy was like, oh, no, I didn't. And I'm like, they're talking about me. And he goes, hey, what's he doing now anyway? And he goes, oh, he died. It was a really long illness and he died. And I'm like, excuse me, Tommy Chong is my dad. And he's not dead. He's in jail. So when my dad was in jail, this is not a joke, he seriously would try and set me up with guys he met in prison. His dogs. His expression, not mine. And there was... She likes that. Yeah, the prison! You have someone in prison? I know, we can talk. But there was one guy who I thought was cute. I saw him during visiting hours, and he was doing time for selling prescriptions, and my mom's like, he's a doctor! But it turned out he was gay, so that didn't work out. But I did finally get married and have a kid. We're not together anymore, so I'm a single mom. No, see, I'm fine. Oh no, that was a joke. Yeah, the single moms in jail. And marijuana. My dad raised me right. And Having a kid, he's 10 now, and it's so hard because he's kind of a jerk. He says mean things to me. He goes, "Mommy, you cry too much for an adult." I'm like, what are you talking about? And we were driving in my car, and I have a really old Honda Accord 2002, but those are the best cars in the world. Give it up for Honda Accords. She's not that convinced. Anyways, we're driving in my car, and he goes, "Mommy, I'm gonna have a better life than you. I'm gonna drive a better car, and I'm gonna be a lawyer." And I'm like, "Well, you're certainly gonna have better kids." Bam! And I did that. No, and he loves GTA 5, Greater Toronto Area 5. He loves video games. He's obsessed with that video game. I know it's not that. But, and I won't let him play it because it's not appropriate for a 10-year-old little boy, so he plays it at his best friend Amir's. And he came home and he goes, "Mommy, Amir bought a private dance for $40. This is when he was 7, actually. And I go, "Jesus Christ. When I did private dances, they were $50? And this was the early 90s. Can we please raise the minimum wage?" No, seriously. I was a dancer when I was younger, and I tried to be a stripper for one night at Crazy Girls in Hollywood. Anyone know it?
Nope.
Woo! Woo! I'm really making a great impression. And it was, okay, I could only work there for one night because it was exhausting. The aerobic exercise, like I didn't know how to pace myself as a stripper, you know what I mean? And I didn't know how to do any tricks on the pole. So I just made up for it by being really enthusiastic. I literally did this the whole night for the first song, and I was exhausted. Like I was sweating. And I came backstage, or the back area, it's not really a backstage, and this other stripper was rolling a joint, and I was about to sit down on the floor, and she goes, "I wouldn't sit on that carpet if I were you." I was like, oh. And the song I picked to dance to was Aretha Franklin's Respect. Unironically, I might add. I know. So I'm telling Jack, I'm like, "Jack, my son, you can't play GTA 5. It's not, I don't like the way they depict women in the game. It's too violent, it's too sexualized." And I'm like, "It's just not appropriate for you." And he goes, "Mommy, don't worry. I won't have sex with any of the hookers. I'll just kill them." So I took my son to Costa Rica recently, and for a holiday, a tropical vacation, Costa Rica, right? I was so excited because, you know, I'm a single mom, so it was a big deal for me to take him on vacation. And he wasn't impressed by it at all. He was like, "Where are the sidewalks? And why are there so many stray dogs?" And I'm like, "Shut up and enjoy the third world, man. Enjoy the diarrhea." So, sorry, you guys are eating. So we were we were there on the last day, and it's this beautiful tropical, beach, and the water is the Caribbean Ocean, and it's really the water's crystal clear. And I'm watching my son, and he's jumping in the waves, and then and there's a lot of riptides there. And then I start to sort of see him drift over a little more, and I'm like, "Oh, he's fine. He's still jumping in the waves." And then he's even further over, and then he's kind of near where the rocks are, and then I see like this local family kind of looking at him, and then looking at the beach and going, "Uh-oh, another white family, another white person's gonna die." And I'm like, "Oh my God." So then I start running to go save my son. So as I'm running across the water, I pass by these rocks, and all these little fish, schools of beautiful silver fish, start swimming past my leg, jumping in the air. And it's so beautiful, like skittles of fish, rainbow skittles of fish jumping, and I'm so distracted. I'm like, "Oh my God, this is so beautiful." And then I go, "Oh, but my son is drowning." And then I'm like, "Oh my God, more fish. It's so beautiful. And then I'm like, but my son is drowning. And then I'm like, oh my God, but look how beautiful this is. I'll always remember this moment. I hope my son doesn't drown, and then I save my son. I think I made the right choice, guys. Do you think? So I'll leave you with this. When I was younger, I used to hate it when guys would like catcall me at construction sites or like, thanks. Not an object.
Shut up.
Or like when I was at the supermarket, a guy would try and hit on me, and I'd be like, stop it. I dress like this for me. And now I'm so grateful for any male attention. Like this airport security guy compliments my socks, and I'm like, I still got it. Or the crossing guard at my son's school is like, gives me my special parking spot when he has no teeth, but that's beside the point. Anyways, I was walking to get lunch, and this guy is smoking a cigarette, and he's like dark and swarthy, and he goes, "You have the legs of an 8-year-old boy." And I'm like, thank you! Anyways, I'm desperate. Thanks so much, you guys. You've been awesome.
I'll be right back.
PreciousChong, everybody. They're here. When I came up here earlier, it looked like I was misreading it, but I was actually just looking at my food bill. I pulled the wrong piece of paper out. Anyway, come to this.